guys, look at you here. Today we'll be making rice paper dumplings. What are rice paper dumplings? It's your typical dumpling, but instead of dumpling wrappers, we use rice paper. Basically the Gen Z way of making dumplings. And the flavor, a little rice papery, a lot dumplingy, all wrapped in a crispy, chewy pocket that's, so good. So stick around till the end and we can devour it together. Now let's get rice paper dumplinging. Dumpling, 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 dumpling. Here I have some cabbage, a necessity when it comes to your typical Chinese dumpling filling. And as you can see, this is no ordinary cabbage, it's Taiwanese cabbage. The reason why I like using Taiwanese cabbage is that it has a sweeter taste and stays tender longer. But if you can't find Taiwanese cabbage, then the next best thing is using your typical coleslaw type green cabbage. Also, remember when we were kids and people would try to scare you by saying, "Don't eat too many carrots or else you'll turn orange." Well, what if I want to turn orange? Slice some green onions. I typically use Chinese style chives, but since we're using Taiwanese cabbage, those two flavors would clash. So the light oniony flavor that green onion brings is the best. Rehydrate some shiitake mushrooms in warm water, squeezing them like a sopping wet sponge, and mince it. You could use fresh mushrooms, but I like adding rehydrated shiitake mushrooms because number one, I have a big bag of it, and number two, it brings out a lovely umami flavor. Don't forget to grate the aromatic essentials, garlic and ginger. You could also finely mince them if you don't have a fine grater. Now I'll be showing you a vegetarian filling with tofu as my protein of choice. But if you're a carnivore, just make sure to partially cook the meat before pouring it in the raw veggie bowl. But with tofu, you can skip that step, making me, my watch, and my sink much happier. Let's bring out our glue, your protein of choice. I'm using firm tofu, not soft, a firm. Crumble it with your clean fingertips and drizzle in a little soy sauce and sesame oil. Then we're gonna do a little mixy mix. Look at that gorgeous vegetarian filling we have going on. Now, if you know how to wrap a present to look somewhat presentable, then this rice paper wrapping method will be a doozy. I actually find it easier to wrap than traditional dumplings. I'm using size small. It's basically 16 centimeters or 6-inch rounds. You could use the larger and more common 22 centimeter rounds. Your dumplings will just be bigger as you'll need to stuff more filling inside. Give your paper a bath in room temp water and place it on a dry surface. Using a cute wooden spoon, scoop 3 tablespoons of filling onto the paper, waiting a few minutes while the paper hydrates. And here's the fun or frustrating part if you're new to this. Bring the bottom portion up, right side to left side to right, then roll it up, all while tucking in any filling spilling out. And bam! You have a gorgeous rice paper dumpling. Let's just pretend you're in line at Chipotle watching them wrap your double bean burrito with extra lettuce. And speaking of Chipotle, what do tortillas and dumpling wrappers have in common? They're both used to wrap things and they're fresh and soft, but expire and become stale very quickly. Rice paper, on the other hand, is already dried. Therefore, it has a very long shelf life. And I know of a friend that used 2-year-old rice paper with no problems. That friend is me. I find whenever I buy fresh dumpling wrappers, I always end up throwing out some because I'd put the leftover wrappers in the fridge and promise myself that I'll make more dumplings later in the week. But then 2 weeks pass and they become rubber. So if you're like me, rice paper is the better and more fun to eat option. And for all my friends with celiac disease, rice paper is gluten-free. So you can finally do that dumpling eating competition with your friends, which I may have done one too many times. You can call me the dumpling queen. Thank you very much. transfer them onto an oiled non-stick pan. Do not use a stick pan. With the heat on medium, making sure not to place the dumplings too close together or else they'll stick. And if you're like me and like things extra crisp, I recommend shallow frying these, so coat the entire pan with oil and then some. Now the best part of these vegetarian dumplings is that you don't need to worry about cooking the meat through. Just fry them until both sides are crispy brown, making sure that your heat isn't on high or else the wrapper will cook too quickly and won't allow for the veggies to cook inside. If you did a good job in wrapping, you'll notice that your dumplings may slightly puff up as it's cooking in the oil. And this means there are no holes in your dumpling, so good job. I noticed that some people will stir fry their dumpling filling, which makes no sense to me and is an unnecessary step because if you do that, you'll just end up with a dumpling with soggy filling, unless that's your thing. And trust me, these are steaming on the inside. So while we wait, let's make a quick dipping sauce. Combine black vinegar, soy sauce, and Queen Lao Gan Ma. Also, does anyone know if she's actually real? I sort of want to meet her. And this is optional, but I need a bigger kick, so I like adding some sliced Thai chili peppers and green onion. Do a little mixy mix, and there we have it. Look at Chu's essential dumpling sauce. Here's a little ASMR. And while it's still crispy, let's dig in. Alright, so this is the finished product, and I'm super excited. These have cooled down a bit. Look at that, gorgeous, just like you. Dip it in our sauce. Ooh. Cheers, first bite for you. Nom nom nom. When you first take a bite, you get hit with that light crisp on the outside. Then you chew a little and you get that nice, soft, pillowy interior with the garlic, ginger, cabbage, all that good stuff. Ooh. This is very messy. Probably better to just take one bite. Reminds me of a Vietnamese spring roll. Some places I know have that boobly exterior on their spring roll. That's because they use rice paper. Alright, so this gets Look at Chu's stamp of approval. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post once a week. And I'll see you guys next time.